Hello, welcome to the 9th day of May 2025. My name is Kurt and this is my daily Good Life meditation, an exercise that I do each and every day a little bit after waking up to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. I also use the time to think about the last 24 hours and how I did with the challenges and the opportunities that I met yesterday, any that pressed me into the area of needing to exercise my values to respond well, to live well. I go over the 8 objectives of my creed and one of the principles. I really like that I've added that one principle a day. That's a good change. Should have done that a long time ago. And then I think about what I'm going to do, or plan what I'm going to do today. I keep notes every day. I have a little notebook that I carry around with me, and I take notes, and I'll reflect on those. Before I get started though, let me welcome new subscribers to the channel. Hey there. This is my personal journal video, so although I'm in Japan, I don't necessarily talk about or show Japan in this video. This is just mostly my face talking about how I did in the last 24 hours. It's a very personal thing that I do. Why does he do it private? Why does he do it publicly? Why does he turn the camera on? Well, it's a very selfish reason. I found through long practice that I do a better job if there's not an audience, at least if I think there's an audience, right? And so I really don't glance at anything. I don't watch comments as I'm doing this, but I know the camera's on. So given that that's the case, I do a better job. When I do this without a camera being on, I kind of go fast and jump over stuff, and I take things for granted and assume things, and I do a lesser quality job. So that's why I do this. And you're welcome to join me, but you know, just know that this is all about me. This is my exercise. So, all right, but I will read and respond to comments later. Disclaimer. In this video, I do sometimes talk about subjects, but not sometimes, every time. I talk about subjects that are unsettling to some people. The number one being death. I always talk about death. I always plan for my own death every day, every morning. So, that disturbs people sometimes. So I get cards and letters. So just be forewarned. I also talk about my lack of belief in God, which also unsettles people sometimes. I get comments and email about that too. But I don't talk about that one so much. Just once in a while. There, I just did. Also, big thank you to for those that watch my videos, especially to those who are members on my YouTube channel and those who are my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate your support. I've kind of stopped going to mini stop in the morning, where I would usually have a melon pan and a coffee, and I would usually lift up the coffee and say thank you for this. I stopped doing it because I've got full power Wi-Fi here now at the house, and the quality's better, so it makes more sense to do this from here. Also, with the spring arriving, the days are just so lovely. It's just so nice to be out on my patio here, and the flowers. I got the flowers blooming and stuff like that, and just to see in the meadow, you know, the rice field over there that was a meadow up until last week, and I can hear the sound of the river. This is a better place to do it. But still, thank you. I lift my cup of green tea to you, my supporters. I appreciate you so much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the 3 things I already mentioned. So let's get into it. The first thing, the last 24 hours. What had happened in the last 24 hours that was an ambush, that something that happened that I was like, oh no, didn't expect that. How did I respond to that? Well, there wasn't anything, even though yesterday was rife with opportunity, because I was actually out and I had a really great adventure. Yesterday was the best adventure day yet since returning to Japan. And I documented the whole thing. Today, I do 2 videos a day typically. Well, not always 2. I always do 1, at least. I do this video every day. But then sometimes when I have the material, I'll upload a retiring in Japan video, and I will be uploading one today, and it's a good one. It's more me out there adventuring with my dog than anything else. It's the most I've done yet. So you would think that there'd be lots of opportunities for me to be ambushed. I mean, I'm safe here in my little house. I mean, what's going to ambush me here except a heart attack? See, or a leaky faucet, or, suddenly discovering termites, whatever that case may be, or a giant hornet buzzing my head out in the garden. But when I'm out and about in the community, there's lots of opportunity to be ambushed. Nothing really ambushed me yesterday, even though there was lots of chances for it. Although I will tell you about the one thing that I made a note here. My note says in the last 24-hour section, it says, driving anxiety. I had a fender bender. I banged into a fence about 3 weeks ago, a month ago. And it's been fixed. Insurance is covering all that. And I broke our new car, too. The car is taken away yesterday and is being fixed as well. And I've got this loaner car. And it's this brand new Suzuki Smile. Isn't that a great name? And it's got this technology. And so since I banged into the fence, I've been really, really nervous about driving. I mean, never in my life was I nervous about driving. I've always been a very confident and a very good driver. I'm a driving instructor, by the way, So, but ever since I came to Japan, my driving has just been awful. And my eyesight is starting to go. And it hasn't gotten so bad that I need glasses yet, but I'm holding off getting the glasses until my eyesight settles, because it seems to be getting all wonky. But the doctor says I had it checked out, and he says you don't need glasses yet. You don't need glasses for driving, but you're okay. But keep an eye on it, so to speak. Anyway, this new car, this Suzuki Smile, it's got this feature that is a really interesting use of technology. It's got the cameras that look all around, and maybe this is modern with all new cars, but it's not. Well, our Suzuki Jimny is brand new, and it didn't have this. Anyway, when you look on the screen, and it's not just a screen like a backup camera. It's like as though there was a drone hovering above the car. You'll see this in the video that I'm going to upload, the Retiring in Japan upload today. I actually filmed it on the screen. And the camera's looking down, like a drone is looking down and filming you from above, and you can see everything around you. And it's accurate. Like if there's a wall over here, you see the wall. If there's another car over there, you see the car. And as you're backing up, you can just back right up. It's like a video game backing up. Blowing my mind. So I really like it, and I want it, but I won't get it because it's just hashtag not possible. But so it illustrates that my driving anxiety is still there. But you know what? The driving anxiety is not something that I need to do something about. I'm leveraging the experience of this accident that I had into a positive, by saying, Kurt, this is a cautionary experience, right? I mean, you're getting older, your eyesight is starting to go, your cognition isn't what it used to be, hashtag, et cetera, I'm getting old. This is a chance for me to wake up to that fact and be more cautious when I'm driving, to not drive like I'm a young 50-year-old, to drive like I'm a cautious 60-year-old. And I'm doing that. So I wouldn't call this, I would have to label this as a long-term reaction, right? 3 to 4 weeks in the making, to say, I had an accident. It caused me a lot of stress and anxiety in the moment. I handled that pretty well, as I covered when the moment happened. I actually utilized the principles and objectives in my book in the moment to handle it well, to communicate what happened to my wife without causing her undue worry, to go over the options of how to handle it with insurance, whether to use the insurance or not, and we chose to, weighing the pros and the cons of the increased premiums versus the coverage, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm more cautious now. I'm more careful. I'm a little bit anxious when I'm driving, and that's a good thing. It's not the type of anxiety that causes me to be more dangerous. It's the kind of anxiety that causes me to look over both of my shoulders when I'm backing up, to back up a little bit and then check again, So what, it takes a little more time, making sure I'm not going to run into another car or a kid or a wall or a fence again. Good thing to do for a man my age. That's all I've got for yesterday. And I do recommend, if you get a chance to watch it, the Retiring in Japan upload. I will be uploading 4 p.m. I always upload those. I schedule them to upload at 4 p.m. Japan time, which is whatever time your time. I don't know. And I was thinking about making this one a premiere, because I really enjoyed this one. I had a hell of an adventure. Went to Mochimune, had a great time. First ocean swim since returning to Japan. Oh, that was was just heaven. And it was so interesting because afterwards I was walking, Yumiko's foot hurt yesterday. So I was walking alone with my sister-in-law, the evening dog walk, and she asked me what I did today, and I said I went to Mochi Mune, and I told her I went for a swim, and she was like looking at me like, swim? In May? The weather was beautiful, the water was warm. And so we had this interesting talk, my sister-in-law and I said, we talked about how from the American perspective, it's a suitable day to swim based on the weather of the day. If the sun is out, the weather's warm, the water's nice, go for a swim. It's safe to swim, go for a swim. But from her perspective, and she noted from the Japanese perspective, it's just not done. You don't swim in May, even if the weather is nice. It just simply isn't done. There's lots to explore down that rabbit hole. So that was all there was for yesterday. Okay, let's go over my creed. I've got the following 5 objectives. Number 1, 8. Following 8 objectives. Number 1 is to be always ready to die. And yesterday there was an interesting comments yesterday of a few people asking why I do this every day, why do I add the preparation for death to my everyday meditation, especially given that it's always the same. Well, to answer that question, it's part of the routine. It's like doing a routine set of exercises every day. I'm going to do 5 squats, 10 jumping jacks, and a few push-ups, right? It's just part of the routine. And if I miss a day, well, then maybe that's the day that, for example, I have some sour words with my wife and I forget to work to amend that in some way to make things better. I mean, sure, pretty much every day it's the same. My affairs are in order, my relationships are sound, and my life's work is complete. And I believe that the reason that it's the same every day is because I reflect on it every day, and I make sure that that's the case. It's kind of like having, your books all lined up on the shelf just right, and yeah, almost every day they're just right, but I check them every day, and the day that they're not right, I'll fix it that day. So hopefully that satisfies that answer. If it sounds like it's clickbaity because I give the disclaimer at the front saying I'm going to talk about death, well, that's just because you should see the responses I get sometimes. A lot of the feedback that I get doesn't come in the terms of comments. A lot of people, it's very interesting. A lot of people, and they'll say this outright. They'll send me an email, because my email's right out there, and they'll say, I got something I wanted to say to you, but I didn't want to say it in comments. I get that all the time. I'm up at 4 a.m. responding to comments and email every single day, and I get these things, if not every day, several a week, from people who have things that they want to tell me that they didn't want to say in comments. People are shy because what they say in comments is visible for others to see. So they'll send me email on this. I get these long email, and I get frequent email from people who are truly unsettled by my reflection on death. It's almost like I'm talking about their death. And some people are, there's a couple of the whole range of things. Some people they'll take the perspective that I'm too focused on death. Like I think I'm old, and they'll be comforting me like I'm on my deathbed. Like, oh, Kurt, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. You don't have to worry. You're not going to die. Well, I am going to die, but the other ones are, you're too focused on death. Enjoy life. What's this thing? You're healthy. You're still young. My grandma lived till 90. To sometimes, and this is a much rarer one, but I get comments sometimes that my focus on death is because I'm an atheist, and if I would only find God, then I could have the comfort and peace that be ready for death. I don't get that one very often. I got that one more 5+ years ago when I first started doing this. I don't know what's changed in that capacity. But anyway, here I am going on and on again. I guess it's because it's an interesting subject. It really is. It's the reflection of death is at once the most important thing that I do every day, because if I'm ready to die, then I have my house in order. And it's also the thing that seems to be most controversial, the thing that upsets and unsettles people. Maybe it's because so much, and I've often, and well, not often, I've in the last year or so, I've gained the perspective that what people are telling me in their comments has much less to do about anything that I'm saying, and has everything to say about what's going on in people's mind. And when I realized that and internalized that, it had the effect of disarming people's comments, because you get the negative comments, you get the people that are after you, and I don't see them as coming at me anymore. I see them as what they're saying is simply to repeat something that's often said, is projecting what's going on with them. It's like I said, it's more informative of what's going on in their mind than what's going on in my life. Although I try to look at it from the perspective of maybe they've got something useful that will help me to tune my life. I mean, and if not necessarily, if I see it, well, you're just really talking about yourself, then I leave them a friendly comment. Like, thank you for your comment. If you get one of those, which me, if you see me leave a response that's just a perfunctory thank you for your comment, that's usually me saying, thank you for sharing your own perspective. Thank you for sharing what's going on inside you. It's very disarming, I think. And usually those people just kind of, after a while, they just fade away. They always fade away. They always do. They never stay. They never stay. And there's always one or two of them. It's an interesting thing. The people that stay are the nice people. That's worth thinking about. The people that stay are the nice people. Like Laura. If you see this, Laura, like you. Like Heather. Like now here I started listing names, and I'm going to leave people out, but you all know who you are. Those people tend to stick around. Okay. Well, anyway, enough about all that. The number two objective is to make good and effective use of my time so that I'm not wasting my days. 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life objectives and principles, which I did and codified in my book. Number 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions so that I react well to the challenges of the day, not flying off the handle or acting disproportionately to the severity of something. Number 5 is to perform good actions and deeds relative to my values. Number 6 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Number 7 is to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, or maybe I got those two flipped, so that I'm reaching for things that I can actually grasp. I'm not straining for things that are beyond me. Now, it's a tricky thing, though, sometimes to recognize what is and what is not beyond me. And number 8 is to keep my balance, both mentally and physically, which I was trying to do, yesterday. If you watch the Retiring in Japan upload today, you'll see me making coffee at the break wall at Mochimune, and I had my feet dangling 12 feet above the sandy, gravelly beach. That was fun. Okay, and I promised that I'd do one principle. And I think today I'm doing principle number 7. So let's open up the book. And we're going to go to chapter. Okay, class, we're going to go to chapter. What is the chapter called The Good Life? And we're going to do today the atomic principle. It's principle number 7. The atomic principle. And the sub-principles for this one are dissolution and emergence, because that refers to the atomic principle. Basically, it literally is what it sounds like. I'm remembering that I'm made of almost everything in my creed boils down to empiricism. I'm not a spiritual person at all. I don't believe in a soul, don't believe in an afterlife, don't believe in God. I believe that, and I'm not saying that I'm not open to being surprised that those things, and delighted maybe to discover that some of those things exist, but there's just no reason. I find no reason to believe any of that stuff. So I'm an empiricist, and the atomic principle suggests that we're boiled down to, at the base level, the atomic elements of which we are composed, which at their base is energy. So the sub-principles of the atomic principle are dissolution and emergence, right? Things falling apart and coming back together, like bodies decomposing and then those materials being reused to create something new. And they have a quote. All things change to fire, and fire, exhausted, falls back into things. That's a quote from Heraclitus. Here's my prose. It's very, very short. Everything in the universe is bits and pieces, flowing and changing, forever transforming and becoming. So too you and me, here for a bit, soon to pass, soon to dissolve, never again this thing once more. When remembering this principle, I will often pick up a handful of sand or dirt to let sift through my fingers in the blowing wind. That's it. Just atoms and sand. All right, so I'm rushing a little bit. I can hear Ollie barking for some reason in the bedroom there, so I'm going to wrap up and go see what he's barking about. For the next 24 hours, all I'm planning to do is I have some listings to do. I have 2 more listings to add, and I think I'll be all caught up with my listings on my YouTube store. Yeah, I have a YouTube store, antiques and stuff. Go check it out if you like. Maybe get some goodies from Japan. These are very bespoke offerings. Bespoke of whom? Bespoke of me. This store is very different from what I did before when I was an antique dealer. Previously, I listed antiques that I thought others might be interested in. Now, I find through almost weekly outings with my wife and sister-in-law to antique stores and flea markets, etc., looking at things, I'm buying the stuff that I like and listing that stuff, and I'm decorating the house with that stuff. So it's very different. It's not like buying items and then putting them in a box and hoping that they sell. I buy an item, I find a place to display it in the house, and then if someone buys it, so be it. They get to use it. Like this, I bought some bonsai snippers yesterday or last weekend, and Yumiko asked to use them, so she's got them downstairs. They're listed. You could buy them, and I told Yumiko, so if someone buys them, I'm going to come take them away. And she said, that's fine. And then that creates a vacuum vacancy in our life for bonsai snippers. And when we go out to the antique store the following week, we'll be on the lookout for them. See how that works? Hey, that kind of matches the atomic principle, huh? Of falling away, dissolution, and replacing things. Okay, let's read comments before I wrap up. Erica, hi Erica, hi, hope you have a solid PEF day. I hope so too. Yesterday was an incredible PEF day. PEF stands for Peaceful, Easy Feeling, for those who are familiar with the Eagles. Oh my gosh, especially at the beach. Oh my gosh, I was like, what the heck was going on here? I was sitting there on that wall. It was so nice, and I went out in the water, and I just floated in the water with my nose up to here, and the world was happening all around me, and I was like, it was like a Thursday, and I was like, I'm forgetting what it's like to feel the urge and the drive to work, right? Because PEF is taking over. Whiskey says, I would not use insurance. Your premiums will go up more than proportionate for sure. Insurance companies don't lose money. Well, actually, I checked it out. So if to fix it ourselves would have been at least, to fix the fence would have been about $2,000 to fix the fence. And to fix the car we didn't even get an estimate for that. And it's some nasty damage on the car. I'm guessing another $3,000, so $5,000. The insurance, they told us that if we used them, our premiums would go up $25 a month for 3 years. And then they would go back to what they are. So we did the math. Much more affordable to just take the insurance hit than to do the other thing. Even just the insurance, just the fence alone. So in this case, using the insurance was the more affordable option. That's not a drone, it's software. Yeah, I know, of course it's not a drone. Software looking around and assessing everything and then reconstructing the drone-like image. It is great technology. And Robert says, good morning, Kurt, Eric, and good morning to everybody. And then Erica says hi to Robert. Michelle, hi, hello Michelle, hello everyone. Hello Michelle. And Whiskey says hello to everybody. Wow, everybody's saying hi. Michelle says, I'm glad that you have talked about being ready for death. It truly has indeed helped me prepare so I know that my daughter is taken care of and doesn't have a bunch of problems when I go. Wonderful. That is the most reassuring comment I've ever received on that regard about the utility of this, because it's certainly been helpful to me in the same regard, right? Knowing that my wife is taken care of, that my daughter, she's taken care of to the extent, well, there's that big bug. Look at this thing. What the heck is this? What is this? What's a wasp? That was a wasp. That was a parasitic wasp, and I was trying to grab it with my hand. Oh, there it is again. What the hell? Anyway, Michelle, I'm really glad that has helped you. If anything, that's the whole thing has been worth it just to hear that you're a little closer and ready for that as well. About the insurance, what the insurance company does not tell you is your point system gets altered. A bit like a credit card. You pay late and your credit gets altered. You don't know it though. But we do know, and I'm sorry I'm going on, it seems like I'm arguing with you about this whiskey. We lose 3 points in the way that works here in Japan. But it's only for 3 years. And then we go back, we regain those 3 points after those 3 years. So I'm sorry, it doesn't, you're right. I mean, insurance companies don't lose money on it, but that's what we chose to do. Hi, all from, and hi, Scott. Hey, Scott. Hey, Carlos, hi. Haha. Wasps are terrible because they can sting many times. Yeah, because they don't, that's something else. And then Warrior Nun, what a name. Good morning to you. Yeah, that's the second time that wasp or one like it came visiting, but not as nasty as the Asian giant hornet, which I've seen 2 of them now. Roaming right over there. There was one roaming right over there, and then one out in the garden was all around my fingers. My head, zooming around my head. And Robert says hi to everybody. And Whiskey, so again, I don't mean to argue with you about the insurance. You're absolutely right about the insurance. It is, in the long run, better not to use it, but we did. So I'm going to leave it at that. Ollie seems to have stopped barking. Men of Culture, get up early. Oh, hey, TKO Sam. Men of Culture. Daddy's here, yeah. Oh, there's that wasp again. Hold on, let's take a look. Here it is. I think that's a wasp. Don't you think so? Where's it go? Where'd it go? I think it's a parasitic wasp. There it goes. Off to the side of the house. 2 wasps in my garden, but they do eat the bugs on plants. Thank you for your knowledge. Oh, and here, see this? I got this bucket at the Yumiko, and I bought it at the antique place the other day. It's all dirty because I put bricks under things, and I came up here and I washed the brick in it. But I'm collecting the water from the roof to use to water my plants, which I just watered this morning. Aren't they coming in nice? And Rudy's got his little place there. He's sitting in there right now. And then I've got these over there, and I got another water butt over here that's nearly empty. That's how it should look. And Scott says, what's the difference with a parasitic one and a regular one? Oh, good question. Let me flip this around. So what's the difference with a parasitic one and a regular one? Do you mean it's acting oddly because of a parasite? No. What I mean by that is parasitic wasps, what they will do, the reason that they're called that, and this is just me, amateur entomologist hour, they will hunt for like a spider, and they'll paralyze the spider, and then they'll drop a larva egg or an egg on the spider, and then usually secret the paralyzed spider away in a hole or something like that and buried it. And then the wasp egg will hatch. The wasp larva will then eat the spider from the inside out. It'll go inside the spider and it'll eat the internal organs, preserving things like the heart and other things so it doesn't kill the spider, so it keeps the meat fresh. And then when it's done, a new wasp emerges from the ground or wherever, and we've got a new wasp, and it does the same thing. So it's parasitic to the extent that it's a parasite on spiders. So when you see these parasitic wasps zipping around like that one was doing, look, they're hunting for spiders and other things. I think they do other things as well. That's what I meant by parasitic. And Heather says, good morning. Hey, Heather. Hey, Heather, thanks for sharing the photo of the kokeshi. I love the arrangement with the ceramic bell and the framed kokeshi art that you got as well. That looks really, really nice. Thank you for sending that photo over on the Discord server. It meant a lot to me to wake up and see that this morning. And our Warrior Nun says hi to Robert. Robert says hi to Heather. Heather says, I love all the variety of plants. So pretty. Thank you. Scott says, oh, wow, that's terrifying, like the movie Alien. Exactly like the movie Alien. That's exactly right. So, yeah, and you're right about them being able to sting repeatedly, multiple times. In America, we have something called the tarantula hawk in the deserts. Big, black, it's a parasitic wasp that's hunting literally for tarantulas. And there's the Suzumebachi here, which has the ability to do multiple stings, and the tarantula hawk too. Now, that would make a good head-to-head, wouldn't it, to see which one would win in a thing. And all wasps are females, very good for environment. Environment, okay. All right, well, guys, I'm going to sign off for now. Thanks for joining me, and I wish you all the best. Remember to be safe, but not too safe if you want to be. Be as safe as you want to be. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.